Hello, I'm Janna, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today, over at the Funky Junky Inspiration Avenue, we are creating to the theme of Permanently Perfect. We are going to be featuring Distress Archival inks with all of our makes this week. So, if you'd like to see exactly which supplies I'm going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today we're going to be featuring Distress Archival inks, and there are so many different beautiful colors to play with. We have got a total of 24 different archival distress inks, and they fit nicely into these little archival tins by Ranger. And I'm also going to be pulling in the larger archival ink, my absolute favorite, Black Soot, for a technique. So let's set these aside and jump right into some card making. To start our card, we're going to be using some craft stock. This is from Ideology, and this is from the Cool Tones pack. With a piece of cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, we're going to be doing some embossing with the Kaleidoscope Sizzix 3D folder. Absolutely love this for detail. So here is the piece that we have embossed, and we've got lovely detail and texture on here. But we're not going to just leave it like this. We're going to be going in and changing it up a bit to add some Distress Archival Black Soot. But in order to do that, I'm going to be taking the blending tool, and it has one of these sanding discs on it, and we're just going to be going over the cardstock. We're just aiming for those high points, and we're trying to bring some of that natural craft stock back through here. Okay, so almost there. I just need to try to scuff off just a little bit more. I really want that craft stock to be pretty prominent. All right, just working your way around. There we go. So if you look closely, you can see that we have scuffed off quite a bit of that color, which is exactly what I want to do, because we're going to go back with the Distress Archival ink and put that right over the top. And this is just going to add a little bit of interest. So just taking this, I'm just going to smear it around just like that. Just kind of going over the top pretty quickly. There we go. All right, and I'm just going to quickly wipe off the little extra bit that might still be on here. I'm just using a cloth to do a quick wipe. All right, so we have our sanded background altered with some Distress Archival Black Soot, and I am loving that pattern. Purple and black, definitely a favorite color combination. Next, we're going to be stacking a layer on top of our initial card base. For our layered section, we're going to be using some specialty stamping paper, and I have this cut at 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, just so that we'll have some nice layers. Now for stamping, since that is one of my favorite things to do with Distress Archival Black ink, I'm going to be pulling in an older stamp set. This is Perspective CMS 213. For the background, we're going to be playing with these numbers, and later for the focal point, we'll be pulling in this gorgeous butterfly. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take that numbered background right off. I've got a stamping block ready. Stick that on here. And now for the archival inks. So I already know I'm going to be doing the butterfly in some blues, so I was kind of thinking maybe we could do a bit of a random greenish blue and purple. So for colors, I want to use some Evergreen Bough, a little bit of Villainous Potion, I think some Prize Ribbon, and definitely some Savage Patina, and maybe a teeny bit of Faded Jeans. So I'm going to be pretty random with the stamping. We're just going to work, I should work with the lighter colors first. That would be these three. We'll work with the lighter colors first, just trying to get some color on here. Not really any rhyme or reason to how the color's going on. We're just doing a little bit of a twist. And I'm hoping to get a really interesting blended background of all the different ink colors on here. All right, let's go in for the evergreen bow next. And I love the pads because they're so small. You can use the corners to get into tighter spots, and it just allows you to kind of custom color different areas without having to ink a whole section. Okay, that's good. Let's go in with some of the dark color. We got the Villainous Potion. Kind of hoping for like almost a marbly sort of background, but it's pretty random, so I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be getting. But that's going to be half the fun. Okay, and let's just fill in the blanks with this. So I'm tilting this to make sure that I got good coverage everywhere, and just hoping that we're going to get a really cool blend. It's looking pretty good. All right. Well, even if it's not perfect, that's going to be okay. So just move these off to the side for a moment, bring in our specialty stamping. And let's go ahead and put that down. Just like that. And I probably can get a second generation stamp. Or I might have to darken that up a little. Not sure. Let's see how this stamps initially. Okay. Ooh, I like it. It worked beautifully. So I am just going to kind of re-ink the bottom just a little bit so that we can get that next little portion stamped out. Yeah, that came out better than I thought it would. Just going for kind of random colors, and I like where that ended up. Very cool. Salvage Patina kind of got lost, but you know what? It was the lightest color, so I think I'm okay with that. There's a little bit here and there that shines through, so good enough. All right, let's just finish this off. Put that right here. There we go. All right. Here is our next layer of our background, and I really do like this quite a bit. We've got all those beautiful colors, and we've got the Archival on here. It looks good. So let's go ahead and layer this up. We're just going to take a few foam squares, and I'll just pop those on the back of the number layer. Nothing too fancy here. All right, just adding a little bit more dimension. Okay, another 2 of those, and we'll just peel that off. Good. I love specialty stamping paper. It always gives such wonderfully clear detail when stamping anything out. Okay, and let's go ahead and put that right on here. Okay, lining that up. Yep, I'm happy with this. Good. So, pretty easy start to our card. Next, we're going to be bringing in some distressed watercolor cardstock. We're going to switch our stamps out, and I'm going to need to bring in the stamping platform because we're going to be doing a little bit of layered stamping with the butterfly. So let's go ahead, we'll grab that. Okay, got that. Just move things around carefully so that I can put this right on here. Okay, yep, right here should be good. Put the butterfly right there. And just move things around and I'll get those magnets secured. Okay, just move that. There we go. And I think we'll grab the large stamping pad again. All right, let's go ahead, we'll pick up that stamp. And now we just need to ink this up. So just pressing and giving a little twist. We'll make sure we got plenty of ink on here. Okay, and we stamp. Now, the first stamp doesn't have to be perfect. I mostly need this as a guideline because we're going to be doing a little bit of watercoloring with some distress re-inkers. Yep, that will work. Okay. So for re-inkers, I'm going to be using some Distress Prize Ribbon and some Mermaid Lagoon. So I'm just going to put 2 little drips off to the side, and I'll dip into that with a water brush, and we'll paint this gorgeous butterfly. Okay. Alright, so for the water brush, of course, I have got a Fine Detailer water brush by Tim Holtz and Ranger. Definitely my favorite one to be using. So let's start with the lighter color first. And yeah, I think we'll work with the lighter color and kind of just have it edge its way out. Yep, that'll work. Maybe a couple of lighter spots on the wings. A bit here, a little bit there. Yeah, this should come out very nicely. If I go over the lines, not a big deal because we will be fussy cutting this once everything is nice and dry and layered. Okay, a little bit more here. Let's do a little bit more on the wings. There we go. All right, now let's go into that beautiful prize ribbon color. Absolutely love these. Anything in blue makes me really happy when it comes to the Distress family. There are so many good ones to choose from. Okay, so just kind of moving the color around, trying to get a little bit of a blend going. Nothing too serious, nothing too fancy, just we're going for a beautiful blue butterfly today. Okay, I might go back in with some of the Mermaid Lagoon after. Can brighten up some of those spots that I'm currently kind of smudging out, but that's okay. The main thing right now is just to get that color on here. All right. Over halfway done, that's the good news. Let's just keep dabbing that on. Okay. All right, let's go back with that Mermaid Lagoon. Just want to brighten a few spots up. There. And let's do that blue as well. Why not? Okay. So what I'm going to do next will be to quickly dry this a little bit with the Ranger Heat tool, and then I will stamp for a second time just to bring back the vibrancy of the Archival ink. Okay, I think we are pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and quickly dry that off. All right, so again, I'm just going to ink up that butterfly stamp, and then we'll do a layer over the top of the ink that we've added. So that's just going to darken up that black a little bit. Okay. Take that, stamp it out. There we go. And that works out beautifully. So let's go ahead, we'll just take this out of here. And now we will need to do a little bit of fussy cutting to have that butterfly become the focal point of our card today, featuring Distress Archival inks. So for fussy cutting, I'm going to be bringing in the Ranger Tim Holtz Tonic Snips, my favorite thing for cutting. So we're just going to quickly work our way around the butterfly. I'm not even going to try for the antennae, that's just not happening. If we get all of the fussy little parts around the butterfly wings, I will be quite happy. But antennae, too much. So we'll just snip them off. There we go. And just continuing around. Now, one thing that I found to be a super useful tip is don't try to do acrobatics with your wrist. Instead, turn the paper, and you'll save yourself a little bit of pain when fussy cutting. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this on fast forward as I finish cutting out this gorgeous butterfly. Here is our completed butterfly, all fussy cut out. So I'm going to set that aside for a moment, and since I've got the Archival inks out, and I do have a bit of watercolor cardstock left, I also want to stamp out a sentiment. And we might as well use the exact same stamp set. I like the Live Your Dreams, Dream with Passion. That would be a good one to use. So let's take that, just line this up. And now the other great thing about the small archival inks is that I can ink separate parts of a stamp with detail. So here, I just want to ink the dream part in purple, and the rest is going to be in the black archival. So very carefully, I'm just going to tap that purple on, make sure that we got good coverage, and then I can stamp that one portion in a different color, which is neat. Okay, so I've got the purple. Now I'm going to go in with the smaller black archival soot and ink the other parts. There we go. Okay. That should be pretty good. Oh, looks like I missed a teeny part of the D, so I'm going to go back. All right. Now I'll just take this, line it up on here, and stamp. And there we go. We now have a sentiment with some ink that is of a different color. Now, I don't want to leave that as plain white. I think we're going to go in there with just a little bit of vintage photo distress ink to grunge that up just a little bit. I'm just going to need a blending tool, and we'll add a little bit of color to this. So let's take that, blend right over the top. All right. And that's a little bit too plain for me. I'm just going to go in with a couple of water drops. Just give that a little bit more visual interest. Okay, it's good, and we'll just blot off the extra. Okay, there we go. Now we've got a sentiment. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to quickly pull in the tiny tonic trimmer and cut our sentiment out. So right here, make sure that's lined up. Good. All right, now let's go ahead and finish assembling our card. So we're just going to bring back that card base, and I'm going to use some more foam squares to pop the butterfly up. 2, 3, and 4. Good. So let's take that. There we go. And we'll just flip that right over. Just try to make sure this is centered. Yep, I like that. And we'll just put the sentiment right here. Yep, that will be good. And I'll just use another 2 foam squares for that. Why not? Easy assembly today. We didn't even need collage medium. That is pretty rare. Typically, most cards that I do need a dash of collage medium, but not today. All right. Stick that right there. Okay, this needs a little bit more for finishing touches. So let's go ahead and grab some metallic droplets. I think a little dash of silver will finish this card off quite nicely. So 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. These are Ideology metallic droplets, and these were from the holiday season. So just add those at the corners, and I think we'll be able to call this card done. So just to recap, we have been featuring Distress Archival inks today, and we used 3 different techniques. First, we sanded some craft stock and then added a layer of archival ink over the top to create some pattern in the background. Then we did a little bit of a random stamping for the background using some specialty paper and a stamp from Perspective, and we were able to get a beautiful multicolored background. Then we did a layered stamping technique. We stamped a butterfly in Distress Archival Black Soot. Then we added in some Distress Reinkers and then stamped again over the top with more Archival to make the butterfly more vibrant. And then after, we also used 2 different inks to stamp a sentiment. We used a colorful ink in the middle for the word dream, and then we used a second color of Archival on the outside for the rest of the sentiment. Archival inks, definitely one of my more underused tools, but I really enjoyed the challenge of creating with Archival inks today. I hope that you've enjoyed this fun little card, and until next time, happy crafting!